This is going to be somewhat of a long explanation, so let's really break it down. I couldn't fit all of this into the thumbnail, unfortunately. But I think a lot of people will resonate with what this person is saying, not because their life is exactly the same as this person, but for a specific reason I'm going to point out later in the video. So let's really break it down. I've never been social because I had a shitty childhood being bullied. Evolved into a mute, basically to say the wrong thing, rubs people the wrong way. I just have nothing worth talking about. My life is still shit. Aside from my sibling, the entire family has died in the past 5 years, and I have nothing interesting to talk about. My life is so depressing. I don't have any interesting hobbies I'm good at. My weight and physical appearance has always been an issue. My hair is thinning. Most meaningful conversation are with online people, but in person, that's not a thing. I hate small talk. I don't do well around large groups of people socializing. It's even harder when people already have their own social groups. I'm working on myself getting out of. I'm working on getting myself out of being fat, and hopefully I can stay committed to it. But given how shitty my life is, I don't care 99% of the time. I don't even have a vehicle anymore due to heating a deer, among other reasons, and it'll be a while before I can get another one, so I didn't even go out and do things. Living situation shit. Place is a dump. Brother is a slob. Given my situation, what the fuck can I do? Okay, so I see so many posts that are like this, and I'm not talking about the exact scenario. What I'm talking about is this person is so sure. They're already decided. They already decided that they know who they are really well and they hate that person, and it's really, they just don't see how it's possible to change it. What they really mean by I just don't see how it's possible to change it is, yes, I see how hypothetically how I can change it, but it's not gonna work. Why? Because I know myself. Because I know everything. So, it's less about the situation this person is in. Because why? Unfortunately, life can be a lot worse. So, their siblings are alive. They also could have died, right? So, they do computer mods, which I think is cool because I hate building computers, but this person does it, right? I suck at drawing when I like to draw comics. Well, guess what? Everybody, you could also not have hands, right? That's some people want to draw, but they can't because they don't have hands, right? I'm a gamer. Many people actually, surprisingly, want to get into gaming, but they don't have someone that can talk them into the game and get them introduced to the world of gaming. And doing research on your own can be overwhelming at times, right? So, physical appearance can be worse. They could be bald right now. Not that I'm saying being bald is bad, but following this person's logic, right? Basically, there are so many ways where life could be a lot worse, but they already decided that they're already heading that way. And moreover, they already decided that there's nothing worth doing. This determination, this determinism when thinking about your life is the number one impediment to change. Why? Because you're not giving yourself any room for change. Why? You already made up your mind. You already decided. So what's the point in considering any alternative point of view? So if you look at my channel in the early videos, there's a time when I did YouTube coaching, right? I coached someone on Zoom, and then I recorded it, and then I put a voice filter and a face filter, and then I uploaded it on YouTube. There was a episode where someone was having trouble because they couldn't be a doctor. They failed the doctor exam, right? Why? The reason why I remember that specific episode so vividly is because the coaching didn't work. And the thing is, for the longest time, I had been thinking, maybe I could have coached better, which is still true. Don't get me wrong. there are definitely ways I can communicate my ideas better as a coach, right? But the thing is, if you look at that episode, you can see when a person is completely lodged inside of a thought. When you're in that state, nothing really matters because you already made up your mind. This applies to not just bad situations, right? There are people who stubbornly believe that life is always going to be good for them. And even for those people, when you tell them that not really, life can be bad, right? Your life could be a lot better than right now. So compared to that, like your life is on the worst end. And so when you engage life in this really kind of brazen way, it can have some downward consequences because you're too prideful and things like that, right? But even in that sense, when you're so sure of yourself, when you've already made all the conclusions to yourself and you're not open to change, it's practically the same flavor as this post, but just in a different direction. And that is exactly the kind of impediment that you first need to work through prior to getting therapy or prior to getting coached or prior to learning about the Dharma. So, the thing is, yeah, I mean, when we live in a society, right, we naturally need to meet people in the middle. There's no way everyone in a society can all be asserting their own individual will and the society is going to function properly. Society means we, whether we're conscious of it or not, we compromise a little bit of our individuality for the sake of harmony, right? So, if imagine an orchestra where everyone is a soloist, that wouldn't be harmonious. Like it could be a great display of significant artistic talent, but it's not necessarily going to be harmonious, right? So the thing is, even these people, right? These people who approach and talk to, these people who have meaningful conversations, these people who do small talk, guess what? So many of the people who engage in small talk hate it too. But they do it as a social lubricant, right? And online, you see so many people feeling bad because, I feel like I'm faking myself because I'm engaging in social, small talk. But, it's not that the conversations are going bad, like the, small talk is going good. But every time I finish the small talk, it just feels like I've been faking. So, yeah, even the people who do small talk don't necessarily like it. But they do it because that's how you fit into society. That's how you actually talk to people. That's how you become part of a group, right? But when you've already made up your mind, I don't do well around large groups of people socializing. Guess what? Yeah, you won't then. Why? You already made up your mind, right? Socialization means, hey, I normally don't do well around large groups of people socializing. But right now, I'm compromising a little bit of my individual power because guess what? I want to get more influence. I want to observe more people. I want to talk to more people. I want to broaden my views. I want to have different kinds of interactions that I'm used to. This kind of openness is what motivates you to kind of focus less on wanting to express yourself authentically. I'm not saying fake other people. Go, be your inauthentic self just to, fit in society. What I'm saying is, that's on the opposite extreme, right? I'm trying to get you to look at the middle way. On one end, I'm going to be just by myself and I'm just going to be authentic because nothing else matters. I would rather die. I would rather be alone than not authentic. That's one extreme end. On the other end is, I'm social, but at what cost? I have 10,000 people on my phone contacts, but I can never feel like I'm myself with any of them. That's another extreme. As Buddhists, we don't participate in extremes. We participate in the middle way. You can be authentically you, But for the sake of being part of a group, you sometimes fold that part of you. Don't repress it, you just fold it. And when the opportunity comes, you meet like-minded people, you can unfold that part of you. When people force you to be some kind of a version that you don't want to be in order to be a group, you can always say no. You can find new people to hang out with, right? So, of course, easier said than done. So, don't feel like doing it today? Okay. There's always tomorrow, right? So, life is, even though we're all gonna die in, reasonably within the next 100 years, life is reasonably long for you to continue trying. And for you to keep trying, having an open mind is very important. But people often reply back to this, saying, how can I be open-minded when all these things happen to me? And I understand that. But I'm just telling you, the longer you keep holding on to that version of you that you know and are familiar with, the less likely things are gonna change. So if you're okay with not changing, you can continue holding on. But the thing is, if you want to change, it's the price you have to pay.